Today I wanted to talk a bit about motivation and the forming of good habits. Motivation is something that I personally struggle with sometimes. For example, I wanted to make this video yesterday, but it was Monday and I really couldn't bring myself to do it. But it's also something I'm not really bad at. I know how to get myself motivated. Today is Tuesday and I found the motivation to make this video and overall have a pretty productive day. So, want to talk about what I understand about the mechanics of motivations, and hopefully you will find something there that will help you find the motivation to do the projects you always wanted to do. To start with, it helps to understand the basic function of your brain, just the rough outline. And what you have to understand is that your outer brain, your big brain, your cerebral cortex is the smart part of your brain. That's where you're doing most of your thinking. But the brainstem, the evolutionary oldest part of your brain, is the one actually making the decisions. You can imagine it as a caveman riding a dinosaur. Now, it might look like the caveman is in control, and the caveman might think he's in control, but at the end of the day, the dinosaur will go where the dinosaur wants to go. All that the dinosaur really wants to do is eat, sleep, and reproduce. But there are, of course, methods to control this dinosaur. You have methods of positive motivation, like a carrot on a stick, promising a reward, either eat, sleep, or reproduce later if dinosaur goes where you want it to go first. Or you can use negative reinforcement, hit the dinosaur with a stick if he doesn't go where you want it to go. The later one is not really recommended. The dinosaur is, after all, a part of you. You're hitting yourself with a stick. So I prefer to use the carrot. Now, knowing that does not really help you with motivation, but maybe it helps you understand your bodily reflexes a bit more. For example, when I want to do training and I'm not particularly motivated, I suddenly get very hungry and very tired. And that, of course, is my small brain tricking me into not doing the hard training it doesn't really want to do, and instead sleep and eat. Now, to motivation. You can break motivation in its roughest form into two parts. There's internal motivation. That is, if you have decided you want to do something because you find value in it. For example, I find value in creating YouTube videos, in writing, and in drawing, and in reading books, and even in playing video games. That I find has more value, and I'd rather be doing that than checking social media on the sofa, watching endless YouTube videos, funny enough, not just binge watching Netflix. I'd rather be doing something more active, more productive. If you follow your internal motivation, you usually will feel good. But also the sense of feeling good comes out of yourself. I find it is not always the strongest form of motivation, not by a long shot actually. Far stronger is outside motivation. Someone telling you what to do, someone promising you a reward if you do it, or punishment if you fail to do it. That starts with your parents. who try to raise you to be a good human being. And because a child basically is driven by its dinosaur brain, until the child brain learns how to control the dinosaur brain inside the child. So you have to give it a lot of outside motivation to reinforce good habits. So from early childhood we are used to our mothers telling us when to eat, when to sleep, when to brush our teeth, when to do our homework. And they will either reward us, maybe just with a pat on the head with a few nice words, or maybe even with something nice to eat. Or if we fail to do what we are told, we are getting punished with the stick. That is nowadays usually in form of house arrest. We don't get nice food, we get scolded, something like that, something we don't really want. And later in life, we get outside motivation from social pressure, for example. We have to act in a way that our peers expect us to act. I can't just run around in the street naked. My neighbors would find that very peculiar and maybe call the police because I'm doing public indecency. For most people, that is also their job. Your boss is telling you when to work, what to work, how to work, and you will be promised to be paid. If it's a good boss, he will also give you praise and positive reinforcement. But of course, if you fail to do your job, there's negative reinforcement. You get scolded, yelled at by your boss, and ultimately fired. So outside motivation is usually a really strong motivation, and you will find that you're doing jobs and chores and whatever that you don't actually want to do. But you can, of course, use these mechanics to do the things you actually want to do, that you actually have internal motivation to do, but a little bit of outside motivation would give you a boost. So you have to give yourself social pressure. Tell someone what you want to do. Maybe create a lockdown survival challenge on YouTube to force you to eat more healthy and don't skimp on your exercises. Maybe you find a home office buddy, someone you can get into a Teams conference or whatever with during your office hours, so you can check on each other if you are working, keeping you motivated. I, for example, back when I was in university, I had two workout buddies. These were two friends of mine. We all wanted to work out more and get into shape. So we formed, wouldn't say it was a workout pact, but ultimately it was. We met 2 times a week and would work out for an hour or two. And that way I got into the best shape of my life. I could do 40 push-ups, I could run 8 kilometers. I was pretty proud of myself. Sadly, then ultimately, one of my friends, the one where we are doing our workout at, moved, and me and the other one, we tried to keep this pact going, but ultimately we couldn't make it work. And over the next 2 or 3 years, I regained all of the weight I had lost before. Now back to internal motivation. Knowing how your brain works, you can use your internal motivation to do the things you would like to do, but give your own dinosaur brain a little bit of extra incentive. Tell yourself, okay, I am allowed to watch one video on YouTube, but first I have to type this paragraph. First I have to do an hour of work. Don't be too harsh on yourself, or else the dinosaur brain will think it's not worth the effort. Promise yourself, if you train really hard today, you get something nice to eat later on. Promise yourself, if you are really diligent with your workout routine and your food all week, on the weekend you get 1 scoop of ice cream or something. Give yourself the carrot. And also, if you have successes, you have to pat yourself on the shoulder. Because if you don't have a workout packed, no one else will tell you that your workout is working really well and you look great. There's one thing that helps you with doing stuff in general, and that is habits. If you have formed a habit, following this habit, doing what the habit is, does require far less motivation than it would otherwise had. Now, it's easy enough to form bad habits like smoking or drinking or watching too many YouTube videos, slouching on the couch using Twitter all day. But we can of course force positive habits. Once you are in the habit to train every day, it will require far less motivation and effort on your part to do the training. I've got the habit of brushing my teeth right when I get out of bed and before I go to bed. And even though at both times I'm pretty tired and don't want to put in the effort, I do it anyway because it doesn't feel right if I don't brush my teeth. It's a habit. It's a good habit. And over the last years, I've tried my best and succeeded sometimes in forming positive habits. Now, to actually form a positive habit, you first have to decide what that habit should be. Maybe it's doing a bit of work out before or after your regular work. To form this habit, to start with, pick a fixed time of the day. Tell yourself, I'm doing my workout right after I get home from work. And set aside a span of time for that. But here's the important part. You have to start small. If you want to start with a heavy workout, 2 hours of workout every day, really punishing workout, really hard, you won't be able to do it. That's just too much for the lizard brain to take. There's no reward you can promise the dinosaur that will make it go through that much workout. No, you have to slowly form this habit. Ease the dinosaur into it until so it doesn't realize that it is actually doing a lot of work. So start with the smallest form of exercise that you could make. Start with just putting your training shoes on. And once they're on, it's easier to start with a 5-minute jog. And once you're used to the 5-minute jog, it's way easier to expand that to 10, 15 minutes and so forth until you're actually exercising for the amount of time and for the amount of distance you want to be exercising at. It's a slow process. Give yourself the time you need to adjust and pat yourself plenty on the shoulder. This is an important trick to get yourself to do stuff that you would be motivated to do, but your lizard brain don't really wants to do it. For example, for me, I have a habit of working out. It doesn't feel right if I'm not working out. I've reserved the time each day to do the workout. I've done my routine and everything, but getting started is sometimes very hard. Lizard brain still doesn't want to do the workout, especially not if I'm trying to lose weight and I'm running a calorie deficit. Then lizard brain will be twice as hungry and twice as tired as usual, and it will be really hard to get the dinosaur on the ground and do push-ups. Push-ups, for some reason, is for me the worst exercise to get myself to be doing it. Squats is way easier. Squats is nothing. Push-ups require effort. Most days, eventually after a minute of losing my shoulders and working myself up, I do the push-ups. It's not a big deal actually, but some days I sit there and I'm losing up my shoulders and I just can't work myself up. On days like these, what I do is I trick myself. Tell myself, okay, this is your workout time, you're already in your workout clothes, so you should at least do one push-up. Do one push-up, that will be enough and you will be happy for the rest of the day. So I get on the ground, I do this one push-up, and then the other 19 follow suit, because once you're started, it's way easier to do the rest. On these days I tell myself, okay, you're unmotivated, but you should be doing something. Do one set of your exercises, just one set. But once I've done that one set, it's usually not hard to do a second or third set as well. And this trick, this minimal effort trick, does not only work with exercises. It works with making videos for YouTube as well. Some days I tell myself, okay, you should be doing a video. Just do a small video today. Or just cut a video. That way at least I stay in the habit, and once I start working on this video, I find that it is something I actually like to do, and I do as much of it as I had planned. Apart from yesterday. Yesterday was very hard. I'm doing a lot of writing, and I'm forming this positive habit of working creatively each day for at least an hour, and of writing at least a page of creative writing each day. And I started this habit by picking something that would be easy to write. So I picked a Conan the Barbarian style story because I enjoy those and I find those are pretty easy to write. And I set it in the Moons of Balathor universe because I had already worked out that background. So I didn't need to put a lot of work into it just to start writing. And my first day of writing, I wrote 1.5 pages instead of just one. Then, every other day, when I sat down at my reserved time to write, I could tell myself, okay, you're feeling unmotivated. That was often the case. So I told myself, just write half a page. Half a page will be fine, because you have half a page in reserve from yesterday. And lo and behold, almost every day I found the motivation, once I started, to write one page and still have a page in reserve. And as 2020 passed and this habit became more ingrained, I was getting more used to writing, I found it easier and easier. And now I can easily write 2 pages. But still, on some days when I'm not motivated at all, and I am sitting at my desk, I've got my word processor open and the blank page is staring at me, I tell myself, just write one sentence. It's Monday. You will be proud of yourself if you just write one sentence despite being so unmotivated. And lo and behold, once I write that one sentence, my brain goes into gear and I write 2 pages. Yeah, that's all the wisdom I have. That's what works for me. But what about you? What are your best tricks to get yourself motivated, to get yourself into gear, to actually do what you're internally motivated to do? Let me know in the comments below. And if you need social pressure, tell everyone what you would like to do but never could motivate yourself to do in the comments below. And maybe that will be the push you needed to finally get going. Thanks for watching, goodbye, and stay strong.